So is it just me, or has the price of food gone up a lot? From doing a little bit of looking around, it would seem that it isn't just me, and things cost a ton more than they did, I don't know, a few years ago. So I've not done any kind of deep research on this. Just a real quick browse here and talking with friends. And the reason I kind of this sparked up like this past like couple of hours on I wanted to do a video is because I just went to buy some groceries and home stuff like toilet paper and whatever, and I spent over £210, and I got a few bags, like got quite a few bags, like 4 or 5 bags, but I was like, wait a minute, £210 for all this? It seems like a crap ton of money for not that much. And I know that we're going to be back in Tesco's or Marks and Spencer's like this weekend buying something else as well. So yeah, it just, oh my god! And I spoke to a couple of friends about this, and they said, yeah, it's just nuts. Like they'll go away and buy something for just a couple of like items from the shop, and they'll end up spending like £60 or whatever. So yeah, it's just insane. And I did a little bit of research into this, and just very surface level stuff. But yeah, food is one of the hardest hit categories during this high period of inflation. Prices of food in the UK increased by a record of 19.1% in March. That is just fucking nuts, dude. When compared to 2022, most recently this figure has dropped to 8%. Yet food prices are still rising, albeit at a slower pace. Yeah, so I mean, dropped to 8%, but still, that's still a rise in prices. It's just, and this, I've not looked at inflation, but I'm pretty sure this like beats inflation all the way. So in general, things are just costing more and more and more. So, I mean, if you look at this one here that I quickly pulled up, so I think, yeah, we said 8% here, and then 19% back in April, 19.1% in March. And this is, even though this chart is going down, it's still an increase. I don't know what January is. I don't think it's going to show it here. Oh, is that January? Yeah, it's December. So why is it not showing me January? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is just crazy. This is just crazy. And honestly, like whenever I go to Tesco, and for those of you around the world who don't know, oh, sorry, my finger was on the camera then. For those of you around the world who don't know, like Tesco in the UK is not the cheapest place, but it's pretty good value for money, and it's fairly cheap. Like Tesco is the go-to. It's not fancy by any means. It's like the average normal working man's place. There's a couple of other chain stores like supermarkets, like Aldi is one which is more of a buy in bulk, and they don't have as many options, but you can get things cheaper. Saying that though, looking at the meats here, like I went to Aldi a few weeks back or months back, and the prices weren't that different from Tesco's at all. So I mean, if you go in, like we did a little bit of a shop in Marks and Spencer's before. Now this is a little bit of a fancier place. I don't know why it's called Ocado up here, but this is meant to be the Marks and Spencer's site. But yeah, this was kind of like, this is kind of a little bit more swanky. You get like generally more expensive stuff in there. So I mean, one of the things that we bought that my wife likes to get sometimes is a steak. And steaks generally, it can be a little bit more expensive, but it was like up there past £10, and I can't remember which one it was exactly. It might have been one of these here, but like £10, like £9, and I'm kind of like, no, it's okay. Let's just get a takeaway. And it's weird that like a takeaway can cost way less than like going to a supermarket now. It's just, I mean, I don't know if that was always the case years ago. I think, like, for example, if you went, okay, I think from what I recall, when I was growing up in like the 80s and 90s, if you went to McDonald's as a family, or even if you just went out there yourself, it was kind of like a little bit expensive, and you wouldn't do it that regularly at all. But if I think about it now, what would I get if I got, like, just for example, say a Big Mac meal that would pretty much fill me up, for half of the day, let's say, and that costs like what, £6 or something. It's cheaper than this steak here, like fucking 13. I mean, I know that's a double there, it's bigger, but still, I mean, and McDonald's is kind of an expensive takeaway compared to the chippy round the corner. And when I say chippy, for those of you who are not in England, like this, I mean the chip shop, that as in thick fries in England. You can get like a chip balm for like £2 or something like that, and it's fucking massive. And it'll, I mean, I'm not a big guy, so I'll get filled up on a chip balm for like £2, and I'll be loaded. And it's not the healthiest option, but my point is that it's cheaper to go to the takeaway, man. Or I can go to like Tesco's here, and I can get like a meal deal for about, I think it's £3.50 or £4 for dinner. Again, that's a little bit more. You can get cheaper options if you really wanted to. Again, the chippy is probably the cheapest option I can think of, to fill you up anyway, because it is, again, cheap as chips. We've got that expression in England. But still, I mean, we went for this. My wife sometimes gets this one, like this steak here is £4.95. I'm sort of like reaching for the chicken, like, no, let's keep it a little bit cheaper. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, if I look for like a can of Coke, which is usually what I buy, or sometimes I might have like a Coke a day. The canned ones. If I find a single can I find one? 60p. Now that's 150 milliliters. That's not the big one. The big ones are 330, which is a pound. That's kind of, I mean, for me in my mind, I'm always thinking that a can of Coke should be like 60p, which I think is around 80 cents or something like that. So it's just, wow. I mean, if you look at these charts here, I mean, I've not read these clearly and I've not delved into them much, but the fact that, just this spike here of inflation rate for food at 19%. I mean, there was an actual drop back there in 21. So look at this, man, since 22, early 2022, late 2021. My God, over the past 2 years, that's just insane. That's just a monster jump in price. So again, like, food is one of the hardest hit categories during this period of high inflation. And it's not just, like, say, food, groceries in general, and just general living stuff like toilet paper or dish liquid or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I went away and I was like, Christ, man, £210. I'm gonna try and like lose some weight or stretch this out, but I mean, oh, wow. Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to rant about that, guys. Catch you later.